the broker community. So I'm really, really excited to be sharing some very important information with you guys today. I know everybody's thinking right now, you know, how are we going to get back to work? What do I need to do? So we'll go through a couple things of what we've been seeing in the marketplace, what I've been seeing my clients are currently experiencing, go a little bit over what ADP can help you with. And then in the end, we'll take some questions, but I hope you guys enjoy it. But let me know along the way. I know Dario said he's going to be looking at my chat, the chat for me. So he's going to be handling that. But with that being said, just want to get all the legal stuff out of the way. So just a quick little disclaimer. So presentation, we're not going to include any legal or tax advice. But if you have any additional questions, just let me know. Sorry. All right, do you still see the screen? Do you see my title screen, The Road to Recovery and Getting Back to Business?
Yeah, it looks like you're in speaker mode, not in presentation mode.
Okay. Give me a minute here.
Sure.
Jerry and I figured it out earlier, and then I don't know what happened.
It's fine. I think it's. And folks, as we're going through this, we will be taking questions through the chat, and I encourage you, if you have any questions, feel free to chat them, and we'll make sure to get them answered.
So Derry, I'm sorry. I think you did give me the control, but it's not letting me.
Okay. Well, how about I'll be your sidekick here, and if I don't keep up, just let me know next slide, and I'll make sure to go forward. Thanks, Jess.
All right. Thank you so much. So we'll start here. So you guys are seeing as state and local governments ease or start lifting COVID-19 restrictions, a lot of employers are starting to carefully plan how to safely introduce employees back to the workplace and comply with various federal, state, and local employment laws. So I don't know how much everybody knows about ADP, but we have about over 70 years of expertise. So we're here for you as a business owner, as a trusted advisor to help you with the experience to help navigate the complexities that you may be facing today, and then, moving on the road ahead. So we'll just go ahead and cover the agenda for today. So we'll talk a little bit about the big focus is going to be just on business resiliency, which is top of mind for everybody. So we're going to go just over the 4 factors. So we'll talk about returning to work, reimagining, reforming the workplace, and then last but not least, recalibrating. We'll talk a little bit about how ADP can help, and then I'll show you a couple of resources that we've put together to assist you, whether you are an ADP client or you're not. You're more than welcome to take advantage of these resources today.
And Jess, we'll have this presentation available to distribute to the group afterwards?
Yep, absolutely. I'll make sure that I send you guys this with a couple of links that I'll be sharing today, just so everyone has access to it. And like I said, whether you're an ADP client or not, you'll have it in your hands.
Great, thank you.
So I just wanted, yeah, of course, thank you. So I wanted to go over just this quick little infographic. The last one. That one, perfect. So as you guys know, work has changed, right? In an effort to control costs, you can see we're seeing business owners are searching for solutions, such as having executives take pay cuts, temporarily laying off employees, or having to furlough workers, and leaning on monetary government assistance, like the PPP loans and, et cetera. However, according to a recent survey, only 33% of businesses feel confident that they know how to take advantage of the government assistance. They're not really sure what to do with the money, and then after, what am I going to do with the loan forgiveness as well? But also, we're being able to leverage technology. Very, very critical. Companies are scrambling to ensure their networks are set up to support employees working from home, while at the same time trying to pivot to align with product and service delivery and dealing with, with the virtual environment that we hear about. And then last but not least, we're seeing compliance coming into play. Compliance is still top of mind more now than ever. A lot more complicated to try to stay on top of things as things are changing every single day. So while companies are focusing on how to properly manage this crisis, we also have to make sure that they're staying in compliance with all the changes that are, continue to happen on a day-to-day business. So with that said, we talk about business resiliency, right? So this is when, where employees are meeting a lot of challenges. How are they going to impact their business? Are they ready to come out, back on top? Or do they need a little bit of help and a little bit of hand-holding to bounce back to, we know business is not going to be what it used to be, but what can we do to make it better moving forward? So just a little bit about business resiliency and the 4 topics that we'll cover today. So as businesses are looking to get back to you guys are probably all sick of hearing this, but the quote unquote, the new normal that everybody's talking about. We're having a lot of conversations about, business resiliency and strategy behind it. So organizations are having to recalibrate along this process as they look to returning to work, creating a safe workplace. Next step, reimagining what the new normal may look like in a virtual setting, reforming based off market trends and compliance changes, and then, last but not least, recalibrating for the future. So really, I want you guys to look at this and think, where are you in your organization? And then if you're a trusted advisor, do you know what steps your clients are currently in today? And where can you help them, advance to the stages in the future? Certainly right now, we're finding ourselves in a familiar environment of business uncertainty, and our clients and our business owners we meet with are mostly concerned about, how am I going to come out on top of this? How am I going to be one of the successful, resilient companies? You can do me a favor and move on for me. Thank you. So just wanted to show you guys a couple market trends that we've had with ADP. We've been in business since 1949, and we've partnered with organizations in a variety of ways to help them meet business goals. As you all know, 2007 was the last time our economy faced a really, really big recession. And external factors were similar to what we're facing today. However, today we really don't know, is this going to come back? A lot of people are talking about it coming back in the fall or in the winter with flu season coming around. So this is the best time to, get a couple processes in place so that you're able to bounce back better than before if it does come back again. We're seeing, significant unemployment rates, government bailouts, and the uncertainty of the upcoming election year. But organizations are partnering with ADP to help control costs, maintain operational efficiency, share risk liability, and receive expertise around employee productivity and compliance. So as you guys know, from 2010 to 2020, our economy grew and businesses have been faced with new uncertainties around, the impact of changes such as ACA, increases in compliance from DOL and OSHA, unemployment rates at their lowest, but now we're shifting into a whole different market. So even though we are facing a similar situation to what we saw in 2007, other companies in ADP are looking at how we can help you recalibrate from the current situation using the data that we had from the last recession in 2007 as well.
And Jess, a quick question. I don't know to put you on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Is ADP have any stats on how quickly things could bounce back? Obviously, the 2007 grinding out of that over a course of years. It sounds like anecdotally people think that we will bounce back much quicker. Any ADP insight?
We always have a lot of data. Obviously, that's what we're known for. I know something our CEO was talking about is we're bouncing back a lot quicker than what everybody thought, especially now with the states starting to open up and going into phase 2. More than happy to share with you guys a couple stats, but what we are seeing is we're bouncing back quicker than what we thought we were going to be. So it's looking like it's not lasting as long as we thought.
Good.
Dario,
thank you.
This is Brian. I'll jump in there. I think that's what everyone's questioning, right? What does the bounce back look like?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a U? Is it a Nike swoosh? I think there's a lot of different models out there of what it could be. But given that it's a pandemic versus a recession, I think we're all hoping that the disruption will obviously be shorter.
Right. Yeah, it'll be nice once we start seeing the data, proving that to be true, right? Thanks.
Of course, thank you. So we'll talk about the first one. So return, how can we help you during the reopening phase? So a lot of business owners currently have been hard at work to, address the challenges, disruptions, and any legislation changes that have been brought on by the global pandemic. So these are just questions to think for yourself and just consider. So how have you been evaluating your back to work process? Can you adjust business activities and update policies for, say social distancing, sanitation, employee safety? I'm sure everybody's seen the emails come through from different organizations of, we're CDC approved, how can we come clean your office and disinfect? So how are you doing that to prepare your office for when your employees come back? And then how do you plan to balance a phased approach to reopening, the business while you remain focused on the current role responsibilities? And then last but not least, I would say the biggest question on everybody, and since this started, and I know today everyone has the same question, is where can you get the latest guidance to keep up on COVID-19 legislation? I know a couple things were passed this week. They're talking about, a second stimulus bill. And so things are changing every day. So where are you going to get your information? Do you have a trusted advisor? Are you working with a vendor like ADP, or are you working with ADP? But really thinking about where are you getting that information from? And if you go on to the next one for me, and this link I will share with you guys. So it looks at all the different states, and it's called the Reopening Your Business website. So it does go over federal and state agencies and how the reopening and plans have gone in and what phase that they're in. So I'll make sure I send this to you guys, but this is on our ADP Resource Center. So we have state-specific reopening information. All you do is you click on the state and it'll direct you to the state's website for the most up-to-date information on and guidance on reopening. Really, really good tool. What I keep telling my clients to use it in, I have a couple clients that they, maybe they operate in the Maryland, DC, Virginia area, but they might have different offices and employees in, let's say, California, Arizona, or a completely different coast, or maybe New York, New Jersey, right? So I always tell them, go on this site, click around so you can see what the state guidelines are in this site. That way you can communicate to the employees in that state when you can start getting back to business. Because maybe, we might be entering phase 2 really quick, but some states haven't even completed phase 1. So definitely a good tool to look at if you do have some businesses that you're operating in different states. And then here you're also going to find some reopening FAQs. So you're going to have a lot of return to work, frequently asked questions around, screening employees and visitors. A lot of people have talked about doing temperature checks. If you're going to continue remote work, how to handle that piece of it. But a lot of the most popular questions that I've seen on here are, once I'm permitted to open, should I open? Should I not? Should I screen employees before allowing them back into the workplace, and how should I do it, and how do I communicate it to them? What are some ways I can help maintain employee social distancing? I know some sort of organizations have looked at, creating different teams and then making sure that they come in different teams, or doing, different schedules. Like this team will come in for 3 days this week, the other teams will come in for 2 days, or whatever it may be. So really just helping guide you, give you some ideas of how to bring everybody back to the workplace, but then also how to be mindful and empathetic to the employees that maybe are a little concerned about coming back, and how to communicate that to them as well. And also, I would say a hot question. Go ahead, Dario.
Well, I was going to say, is this COVID-19 Small Business Resource Center available to everybody?
It is available to everybody.
Great, thank you.
And I'll make sure I'll send it to you. It's labeled Small Business Resource Center, but it really does give information for everyone. You don't have to be considered just a small business to use it. I would say a big one, I know I had a client that had a question about this. We're starting to open. We started phase 1. I'm in Montgomery County, Maryland. So we started phase 1 on Monday, so not that long ago. But their whole thing was we sent out a letter for the employees to start coming back to work, but a lot of employees don't want to come back. They don't feel comfortable coming back to work. How can I legally have that conversation with them, and what can I can't say? So those are the biggest questions. So those are some of the things that we can help you with, and you'll be able to get a little bit of guidance here through the Resource Center. But, some employees, I don't want to say refusing, but kind of refusing coming back to work, and then what can you do on a legal standpoint? If you want to go back next for me. Another big one that's in here, and very, very helpful, I've sent it out to many of our current ADP clients or clients that have been looking at ADP, is we have the Getting Back to Business checklist. So I won't share the whole thing on here, but obviously COVID-19 has caused many employers to shift their work arrangements, whether through remote work, furloughing, laying off, or other measures. So as state and local governments adjust regulations, you're probably starting to make plans, if not already, to resume operations as quickly and safely as possible. So as you consider this word again, the new normal, there are a variety of health, safety, and employment legal considerations, and many of these issues are really weighing and depending on industry and location that you're in. So on this Getting Back to Business checklist, and I will not only share the link with you guys, but I'll make sure I send you a PDF copy of it so you guys can print it at home. You're going to see, we're going to give you 19 considerations when you're welcoming your team back to work. And then just a few pointers in getting back to work as well. So here, as you can see, some of you might already be past the preparation phase. Some of you are still thinking of entering it. But it's a really good guide if you just need a little bit more assistance in knowing what to do, what to get out there. So number one, creating a clear employee communication plan about the company's plan to reopen, whether you're pushing it out through an employee website or you're sending them letters or emails and whatever it may be. And then addressing, like we went over, addressing the request from employees who refuse to return to work or want to continue to telework as well. So I'll make sure I send you guys this in a PDF format so everybody can print it out as well for their own guidance. And next for me, please. Thank you. And then reimagining, so the reimagining stage. So as businesses continue into economic recession, a lot of companies are going to be faced with reimagining their goals, mission, and refocusing resources to adapt. So whether they were thriving during the shutdown or struggling, business as usual no longer exists. So I know a lot of people are saying, I can't wait to get back to where before, but the reality is that's not going to happen. And, that's also a good thing, though, because I think it will show us a lot of lessons in how we operate our business or how we live our day-to-day lives. But then I'm sure a lot of people have learned, technology and integration, automation are more important now, more than ever. And I'm sure if you're a broker on this call, or if you're a business owner who has had to go through open enrollment during this time, or even push any information out to your employees, paper has been almost impossible to get into your hands. So making sure that you have the right, tools and technology to help you advance and push that information out is very, very critical and vital. I know I've had a couple clients that they forget that we're able to push out a lot of information electronically. So just making sure that you're set up just in case this comes back, whether it's in a couple months or a couple years or a decade, wherever it may be. And then moving on, we'll talk a little bit about reforming, right? So along with recent legislation and the upcoming election, it's going to bring some potential disruption and compliance changes causing businesses to once again adjust. So we just want to be able to make sure that we're mitigating business risk and potential non-compliance is critical to protecting the bottom line. So some things that you do want to consider during the reform stage of business are new regulations, postings, notifications to your employees, any policy revisions, reporting, how are you currently, what reports are currently, viable for you, and then training. How are you putting on training for your employees? Let's say we have to go back into the state of remote work. Are you partnering with a trusted advisor that's helping you put on these trainings? Where are you getting the information from, whether it's ADP or another vendor that you work with? And then some questions, I always like to bring up questions for everybody just to share, to think of. But I always tell clients, to think about what compliance changes have you faced during this? And then think about this, how confident are you in your current ability to analyze, deliver, and enforce phase restrictions, law changes, or policy? And then another big one, do you need some help assisting, navigating, reporting for the PPP loan, the tax deferrals, or the FFCRA tax credits? Those are all things that we can help you with as well. What I've definitely learned in this is there's so many tax credits that, they've been getting thrown at business owners today, and it's so overwhelming that some people aren't even taking advantage of them. There's a lot of tax credits out there, whether it's, pushing up Social Security or R&D tax credits. But reach out to me if you have any questions about certain tax credits that you can take advantage of today as well. And then to the next one, so last but not least, we want to talk about recalibrating our business. So, ADP has been designing the world of work since our beginning over 70 years ago. So while companies right now are heads down dealing with the implications of the crisis, we're currently working, designing what the future of work could look like. Of course, as we said, there's lessons to be learned during challenging times that force us to really dig deep and where we find new gear to drive us to a new level. So with ADP, we bring our data, our insights, and expertise to our clients to help them recalibrate and reach the next level of their organization. So as we know, there's been disruption with every single business owner, whether you have people remotely or you still have people out in the field. So our goal is to make sure that we can recalibrate your business and that the bounce back is greater than the setback. Can you do me a favor and go on? So we're just going to get a little bit about how ADP can help. So at ADP, we have a couple different products that we're able to help with, but I will say our ADP Comprehensive Services currently is our most sought out feature. I like to tell everybody, think about it like you have a personal trainer at the gym. So our technology piece of it, we say that's our Workforce Now solution or our RUN product that some clients are on. Self-service, easy to use, but some clients are now looking for a little bit more support. So then we bring in the personal trainer, ADP Comprehensive Services. So here, we want to focus on our clients' biggest investments, challenges, and opportunities, which are always, as you know, our employees and our people. So here, we help you on attracting new talent and re-engaging current talent. So this is one of the models that we offer. What you'd have is you have an HR business partner in your back pocket to assist you along the way. And then, as I said, currently, it's one of ADP's most sought out products, as a lot of business owners have felt that they're either unprepared or not prepared enough during this current pandemic. And then additional with this, you do get access to our technology and innovation to bring user experience to the forefront. But as everybody is thinking about, we help you with compliance, insight to help the right business decisions, improve internal processes and remain compliant while driving better employee engagement, productivity, and impacting your bottom line so you can focus on what you came into business to do, to make money, right? And then next, I would say this is probably one of my favorite slides. So I think the common misconception is when you make a change with a current vendor, whether it's with ADP or whatever vendor that you're looking at, everybody thinks that you have to bring everything over and under the sun over to ADP. But that's not the case with us. We actually have an ADP marketplace, so I like to think of it as the ADP App Store. So it offers a collection of solutions tailored to you. So for example, we partner with Employee Navigator. I know brokers love that. So it's employee benefits platform. We have a bi-directional connection with it through Workforce Now. We have a lot of exclusive partners on here that we are very picky with, and we do vet them out before we let them partner with us and give them access to our clients. But the nice thing here is you can house your payroll with ADP, but you can stick with the other vendors that you're looking at. I'll give you a prime example of a client I just spoke to this morning. She's currently looking for a new applicant tracking tool. We showed her ADP's applicant tracking tool, and then this morning we're talking about, her decision. What does she want to do? Does she want to go with it? What else is she looking at? She's like, you know what? I was looking at some third parties. And I said, perfect. What third parties are you looking at? She said, I'm looking at Jazz HR, which rang with music to my ears. And I'm like, that's amazing. I've actually met some of the reps from there. And I was immediately able to get her in contact with somebody from Jazz HR. We work with Liaison. So not only are we able to get you great customer service, but they do have some competitive pricing when it's a client that ADP is referring them over. I would say another prime example is I had a client that they work in home health care, and they were using T-Sheets for the timekeeping solution. So their whole deal was, a year ago, someone asked me to look at ADP. I didn't want to look at it because I did not want to move over T-Sheets, and I know they're going to make me use their timekeeping solution. Lo and behold, a year later, we finally convinced him to sit down with us. And he comes to find out that he can keep T-sheets, keep his system that he's comfortable and loves today, but use ADP for the payroll and compliance piece that he really, really did need help and assistance with. This is just a little infographic, and I'll make sure that you guys have this in your hands too, just so you can see a couple of the vendors that we do partner with. And then this is just a couple of examples. I just wanted to show you a little bit about, our biggest COVID-19 trigger events and what I'm currently seeing out in the market. So each of these triggers and signals create different levels of HCM needs. So a couple questions that I've had clients and challenges that they faced are, they're asking for support as they furlough employees. How do we send out these communications? And then when we bring back employees, how do we bring them back? Because then we're dealing with, re-engaging the employees, facing any challenges around risk and safety, making sure they're pushing out that appropriate information. And I would say right now in this time, since, we started in March with this, a lot of clients are really sitting back, a lot of business owners, and even trusted advisors that do partner with certain vendors, they're kind of sitting down and looking at it and saying, am I confident that my vendor has helped me during this tough time? Or do I need to start looking at evaluating with different vendors out in the market to see if they're going to be able to help me out? It's kind of uncertain right now because we don't know if a vaccine is going to come out, and even when that comes out, what's going to happen, that we might have to face this again. So even though we're starting to reopen up the country, this is something that we might face again. So it's a perfect time for you to start evaluating, what vendor am I using? Are they helping me? And then we're seeing that a lot of industry. So if you're a current client, if you're a business owner today on this call, or you're a trusted advisor and you work with any of these industries, let me know. But I would tell you, a lot of the big ones that I'm seeing is a lot of technology companies. They're having a lot of employees go remote. I've had some clients say to me, I have no idea when I'm going to bring these people back and how am I going to communicate with them. A lot of plumbing and HVAC, obviously they have to go out in the field. So how do I make sure that once I send my employees back in the field, that they're going to be safe? How do I push wearing face masks or making sure that they're staying sanitized and safe when they are entering, whether it's an office building or someone's home? And then, as you guys know, insurance agents and brokers, they're definitely reaching out for a lot of information, whether it's pulling an ADP report or just assisting on the compliance side with companies. And then this is the one I was telling you guys about. So I will make sure I send out this link separately too. But here are just some helpful resources for you. So I'm not sure if a lot of you know, but ADP does put on webinars. Sometimes we do put on webinars for our accounting partners so that they can get their CPE credits. But I'll send you guys this. You're able to see a couple of different webinars that ADP has coming up and some recordings of some old webinars. In the beginning of COVID, we started sending out webinars around legislation. Now we're kind of thinking about, I know they have one that's just like on PPP loan and loan forgiveness and how to apply for one, all the way to how to make sure you have all your ducks in a row if you qualify for loan forgiveness. But a lot of what we covered today, you're going to be able to see it on here. You'll also have access to the business, the back to business checklist. And then a hot topic is you're also going to have the COVID-19 toolkit. So you'll be able to, I'll make sure that everybody has access to that as well. All right. I want to thank everybody for your time today and the opportunity to talk to you about, how at ADP we're able to help you during these unprecedented times. But I hope that we were able to share, or I was able to share a lot of important information for you. I know everyone's a little uncertain or not sure how to return back to business, but thank you guys so much. And then just stay safe, stay strong, and stay positive.
Jess, I want to say thank you so much for the presentation. You did cover some good information, and for the group who joined us, we will make sure to send out the presentation along with the links that you mentioned, and I appreciate that. One question I have, and I don't want to put ADP on the spot, but a lot of our clients have a lot of anxiety about the current state of business, bringing employees back, furloughs, layoffs. However, we're fortunate to pretty much most of our clients are weathering the storm okay. Do you have any information on ADP as far as what you've seen, the true economic impact yet? Is it anecdotally or details about that as far as what's flowing through ADP's system?
So I'll tell you from my experience, from what I've seen with some clients going through, a lot of them, we've been trying to give them ideas. So through the resource center, you'll find some ideas of what you can tell your employees and how to communicate it with them. I am seeing a lot of people are, number one, they're looking at, you know, how the state is opening up in phases.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you I would say half of the people I'm working with, everyone's still staying remote. But the other half, I've had some clients that if they do need to have somebody go back into the field, whether it's like an HVAC, obviously you have to go back into the field.
Right.
You know, thinking about, do we need to purchase face masks for these employees, and how do we make sure that we properly, you know, keep them safe and sanitized wherever they're going. But, you know, that's what I'm seeing right now. And then with the phased opening, I would say that's probably top of mind. You have to make sure that you're following state by state, county by county. Like in the DMV area, I live in Montgomery County. So like I said, everyone's talking about phase 2 today in some counties in the state. So obviously we're not ready for that either. So just making sure you're staying on top of legislation. And then if you are going to send employees back, how are you going to do that? I definitely know I have clients that some of their employees travel a lot for work. I know that has not resumed. I have not seen that resume at all.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
And Jess, I'll just add too, you know, obviously we report the jobs report, which is obviously the big thing that everyone's looking at. And for the month of May, I think they were expecting a large amount of jobs to be lost compared to April. And I know that we only had a report of a loss of 25% of what the analysts thought. So there were some high hopes on that not as many people were put out of work at the end of May. And I also will tell you that we're part of the tip of the spear as people start to rehire. We'll be reporting those things, and also some front end knowledge will be around background checks that will start to tell the story of people coming back to work. So all of that will be data that we have and can provide.
Well, I think that's really valuable, Brian. I think maybe in a month from now, we do an update for the group, and because it'll be interesting. I think it'll be reassuring to see those numbers ticking back up. To your point, it's interesting about the background checks. That's a great indicator. And certainly ADP, with the amount of payroll you must be processing, I'm sure you see that coming, you know, going up or going down, and hopefully it's going in the right direction quickly. Thank you. Well, I'll open it up to any questions. Does anybody have anything they want to ask to our panelists at ADP? Well, just to wrap up a couple things. First, thank you, Jess, Tammy, and Byron for being on the call today with ADP. ADP is a strategic partner of ours. We're proud in that relationship. If anybody's an ADP client today or would like to evaluate ADP, we'd certainly help to facilitate that conversation. The breadth of capabilities that ADP has is really extensive. I think we touched on it a little bit in some of these slides, but more importantly, they're a great resource, and that's what everybody is looking for right now, is resources and how to manage kind of unprecedented times and what the unclear future is right now. So I appreciate that today with ADP. We'll make sure to send out a copy of the presentation along with the recording today. So if it won't be today, it may be Monday at the latest that you'll get that. And then finally, look for that survey. I believe you'll get the survey by today or maybe Monday. Take the 30 seconds or less to complete the 4-question survey, and that'll make these events better for you in the future. So with that, Jess, thank you so much. Tammy, Brian, thank you guys so much. And everybody have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great weekend.
You too.